Napoleon Bonaparte, the man whose name would become synonymous with military genius and unrelenting ambition, faced a remarkable array of battles, wars, and setbacks throughout his career. However, one battle stands out as a true testament to his resilience, tactical brilliance, and ability to recover from the most desperate situations. The Battle of Marengo, fought on June 14, 1800. This victory, against all odds, would be one of his greatest comebacks, turning the tide of the Italian campaign and securing his hold over France. In the late 1790s, Napoleon had already gained fame for his campaigns in Italy, where he decisively defeated Austrian forces and cemented his reputation as one of the most promising generals of his time. However, by 1800, his position had dramatically shifted. The French Revolution had led to political turmoil, and Napoleon, despite being hailed as a hero, faced political opposition back in Paris. The revolutionary government, under the Directory, was unstable, and Napoleon's ambitions to seize power were becoming more evident. In an effort to stabilize France and shore up his own position, Napoleon, then first consul, decided to launch an ambitious military campaign into northern Italy against the Austrians, who still controlled much of the region. The French campaign in Italy was an uphill struggle. Napoleon's forces, although highly motivated and skilled, were outnumbered by the Austrian army. The Austrians, under the command of Archduke Charles, had a substantial military presence in northern Italy, and they were determined to push the French forces back. Napoleon knew that victory in Italy was critical to his political future. He needed to win not just to secure France's territorial integrity, but also to prove that he was the leader, capable of restoring stability to the nation after years of revolutionary chaos. The Austrians, however, had a significant advantage. They had mobilized a much larger force, and by the time Napoleon's army crossed the Alps into northern Italy, they had gathered in force. The stage was set for a clash of titans. But Napoleon's genius was always evident in how he could turn seemingly insurmountable odds in his favor. He had a deep understanding of warfare, and most importantly, an unshakable belief in his ability to defy the impossible. The battle itself took place in the plains near the town of Marengo, in what is today northern Italy, just a few miles southeast of the city of Alessandria. Napoleon's forces, numbering around 22,000 men, faced off against an Austrian army of about 28,000 soldiers. The French were initially in a precarious position. They had already been engaged in several skirmishes and were pushed back after a series of failed attempts to break through the Austrian lines. The morning of June 14, 1800, started poorly for the French. Napoleon's forces were spread thin, and the Austrians had launched a series of successful attacks, forcing the French into retreat. Napoleon himself was several miles away, on his way to join his troops, leaving his army seemingly vulnerable. The Austrian forces, under the command of the experienced General Michael von Melas, took advantage of the situation and launched an aggressive attack on the French positions. The Austrians managed to break through the French lines in several places, and it looked as though the battle was slipping away from Napoleon. The situation for the French seemed grim. Napoleon's forces were being pushed back, and a defeat would spell disaster for his political and military career. However, in a display of strategic brilliance, Napoleon turned the battle around with a combination of audacity, military skill, and sheer determination. His ability to adapt quickly and make bold decisions in the heat of battle proved critical. As the French were being overwhelmed on the battlefield, Napoleon's reinforcements, led by his trusted generals, started to arrive. One of the key moments in the battle came when General Louis Desire, a highly respected officer, led a fresh division of troops to the battlefield. Desire's arrival gave the French forces the additional strength they needed to counterattack. The reinforcements arrived just as the Austrians appeared to be on the brink of victory, and the French forces, with renewed vigor, launched a devastating counteroffensive. Napoleon's personal leadership in the heat of the battle was instrumental. His ability to inspire his troops, even in the face of seeming defeat, kept morale high. His call for action, urging his generals and soldiers to press forward, turned the tide of the battle. The French forces, now bolstered by reinforcements, pushed back the Austrian lines, and the momentum shifted in their favor. The Austrians, realizing that their position was becoming increasingly untenable, tried to retreat, but the French forces were relentless. Napoleon's pursuit of the Austrian army was swift and decisive. By the end of the day, the Austrians had been decisively defeated, with over 6,000 soldiers killed or wounded, and an additional 10,000 taken prisoner. The French, by contrast, had suffered around 2,000 casualties. It was a stunning victory that would reverberate across Europe. The Battle of Marengo was more than just a military victory. It had profound political implications. Napoleon's triumph solidified his power in France, and his position as first consul was secured. The French people, who had been divided over his rule, now rallied behind him. The battle also marked the end of Austrian hopes of regaining control over Italy, and it paved the way for Napoleon's eventual coronation as Emperor of the French. The victory at Marengo was not just a military feat, but a testament to Napoleon's exceptional ability to recover from adversity. The battle demonstrated his capacity for quick decision-making, his ability to inspire his troops in the most desperate of circumstances, and his unyielding determination. It also showcased his brilliant use of reinforcements at critical moments, turning the tide of battle in his favor when all appeared lost. Napoleon's recovery from a seemingly disastrous situation at Marengo would go down in history as one of his greatest comebacks. It highlighted the extent to which Napoleon understood the dynamics of warfare, the psychology of his soldiers, and the political landscape in which he operated. His victory at Marengo not only marked a key turning point in the Italian campaign, but also solidified his reputation as one of history's greatest military tacticians. In the aftermath of the battle, Napoleon would go on to make significant political and military gains. He negotiated the Treaty of Luneville with Austria, which secured French dominance in Italy and solidified his position in Europe. The battle also marked the beginning of the end for the Austrian Empire's hold over northern Italy, and it set the stage for Napoleon's further expansion across Europe. However, while Marengo was a victory, it also demonstrated the precarious nature of Napoleon's position. The battle reminded him that despite his genius and the loyalty of his troops, he was never truly invincible. The close call at Marengo served as a warning of the risks inherent in Napoleon's ambitious plans. But as always, he learned from his experiences, adapting and evolving as a leader. The Battle of Marengo is often overshadowed by some of Napoleon's other more famous victories, such as Austerlitz or Waterloo. Yet in many ways, it was just as important. It showcased not only his military skill, but also his ability to lead, recover, and adapt. It was a battle that not only changed the course of the war, but helped to shape the course of history. Napoleon's greatest comeback was a defining moment in his career. It solidified his position as a formidable leader, capable of overcoming immense challenges and transforming apparent defeat into victory. The Battle of Marengo, though not as widely remembered as some of his other campaigns, was undoubtedly one of the key moments in Napoleon's meteoric rise to power. In the end, the battle was a victory for Napoleon, but it was also a victory for the idea of resilience and the relentless pursuit of greatness. It serves as a reminder that even in the most desperate of circumstances, with the right leadership and determination, it's possible to turn the tide and achieve the seemingly impossible. The Battle of Marengo will forever stand as a symbol of Napoleon's unyielding drive and his ability to rise from the ashes, securing his place in history as one of the greatest military minds to ever live.